Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to install a rough country aftermarket front bumper on an '08 Jeep Wrangler. First thing you need to do is get that little guard off on the bottom. It's got several clips around there. So if you look back behind the bumper, you'll see the mounting points back here that you'll need to remove. You can see the bolts right there for it. Starting doing those bolts on both sides. And before I forget to tell you, you'll need to disconnect your fog light bulbs and the wiring. So you'll go back behind the bumper and there'll be some wiring running all the way across, and there'll be some little tabs that you need to pull off from the stock bumper in order to get the wiring loose. And then just disconnect them from, either take the bulb out or just pull up on the connector and pull the socket out like that. So once you get all 4 bolts out, 2 on this side and 2 on this side, and then go to the passenger side and do the same thing, get the 2 bolts out on the inside and the 2 on the outside, then you can go back to the top. So now that you've got all 4 retaining nuts off on the back, you can go back up to the top. Wiggle on a little bit. And take your stock bumper completely off. Now let's go ahead and open up the box we got from Rough Country. Let's see what's inside of it. You got the light bar, and then the bumper is still wrapped up, and then a box full of bolts. So let's go ahead and open up this new bumper here and see what we got. Pretty nice bumper right there. Has its fog light holes off to the side. It's gonna be looking real nice on this Wrangler here. Just take a Phillips screwdriver and unbolt the factory fog lights out of its hole. Once you take the 4 bolts out of the bracket, the fog light will come out just like that. So now that the fog lights are out of the hole, it's a really good time to clean them up and polish them if you know how. Basically just take some wet sandpaper, sand down the surface, and then polish the plastic out. So with a little bit of sandpaper, I usually start off with 6 and then go to 8 and then 12. A little bit of rubbing compound and a mini grinder with some little bit of water put on the pad. You can make your fog light go from that to this. So I just take the light like this, start off with some 600.
10?
Don't hit the camera.
Okay.
Come on, you gotta set it back up.
Okay, go. You. Alright. You talking about my dad is like donations? What? Why?
If you have a sander that you can put this on, it'll go a lot quicker and knock all this stuff off. Sometimes I do it with sander, sometimes I do it by hand, just depends on how I'm feeling that day. So this is what it looks like after you get done sanding it. And then if you've got a little polisher like this, it makes it really easy to just start, you know, you put a little bit of water on the pad, a little bit of polishing compound, and let's see. How much of a difference it makes that quickly. And we'll go ahead and finish polishing it out. Now we've just polished out the lens on both fog lights. So basically looking like you got a set of brand new fog lights now going on to your new bumper.
Bumper?
Yeah, bumper.
Yeah.
So in order to put these factory fog lights into the bumper, you'll need to use the little brackets that they gave with you, or gave in the kit, and then bolt them using the little bolts to the fog light just like that. And then the other bracket is actually mounted to the inside of the bumper right here, so that whenever you go to put the light in here, it'll sit in there just like that and set flush, and then you can continue using the other bolts to bolt it down in there, which is pretty much self-explanatory at that point. So my little one's going to work on his four-wheeler over here while I'm working on this bumper. You working on your four-wheeler?
Yeah, but I need something to get the end of it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So whenever you're bolting up these fog lights, on the bracket that's already on the new bumper over here, I found that it was easier to run the bolt in from the bottom. Get your finger around here and bring the bolt in from the bottom, and then put the nut and washer and stuff up from the top side. And then that way it's easier, because it's kind of a pain to try to put the nut and washer and everything underneath the bottom side. So it's just easier running it in from the bottom and tighten it all up. So now we're going to slide the new bolts underneath here and put them in the bracket holes, and then we're going to use the plastic retainer that was supplied and put that over the threads to keep that bolt in there. You can spin it on or spin it on. It usually works pretty quickly. Once you have one side done, go to the other side and install those. So a lot of times whenever I'm taking the other piece out right there, I can't get the little plastic piece out without messing it up either way. You know, right here a lot of times they're rusty, dirty, and they just won't come out, and it just starts stripping. So the easiest thing that I found to take that out is get you a little scraper like this, stick it right underneath there, since you're not going to be using this piece, and then tap it with a hammer. And when you tap it with a hammer, then you're spreading that out, and you're going to cut that piece in two, just like that, and that gets it out fairly quickly. Okay, so now that we got the factory fog lights in there and we got the bolts retained in there, now it's time to set the bumper up into position and go ahead and use the supplied bolts using a I think it's a 19mm wrench to tighten those up with the washers and lock washers and everything, and just set it up there into position. So if you're by yourself, then you're may have to reach up in there. Now on this bumper, I was able to see the top hole to get it first lined up on at least the first one, and then I just reached my hand underneath and around to get the other bolt holes to line up. Now I'm going to work on putting the washers and the nuts on there and tightening it up. Now just take your time whenever you're putting the mounting bolts back on underneath here. You might have to wiggle the plate a little bit. You might have to grab the bolt and push the bumper up in order to get the bolt out a little bit further. But once you get them started, they should go on pretty easily. So after you've gotten all the bolts nice and tight, then you've pretty much changed out the bumper at this point. Now you will most likely have to extend your wiring for your fog lights so that it'll reach all the way over here, because fog lights used to be in the center, now they're on the outside. So you should be able to figure that one out, because it's basically just a 2-wire hookup to extend them and get them to hook up to there. So here you can see the new bumper that's on the front end of the Jeep. A great improvement from the stock one. I'm going to go ahead and finish hooking up the fog lights, and then I'm going to work on getting the new light bar that came with it hooked up. And then also I'll probably be installing this brand new winch right here. It's a 12K. But basically that's how you change out and put an aftermarket bumper like this Rough Country one on your Jeep. Other than that, thanks for watching my video today. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for me. Like it, share it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Keep in mind that every vehicle is different, so that your process might be, you know, different than what I had to do on this one. Just take your time. You'll be able to figure it out. Other than that, just stay tuned for more videos. And thanks for watching again. We'll see you in the next one.
Why do you always keep saying that?
Keep saying what?
Why do you always keep talking to those people?
Oh, it's on the video.
Oh.
Are you having fun?
Yeah.
You are? What is that? What is that?
It's a motorcycle. I say a motorcycle.
It's a what?
This is a motorcycle. I don't know.
It's a four-wheeler.
What?
Say four-wheeler.
Whoa.
Say ATV.
ATV.
Okay.
You want to say that?
All right, be careful. Watch what you're doing.